let's talk about emails in Kartra and emails for your marketing. So there's two different types of emails that you're going to want to have in place. One of them is pre-created sequences, and the other is like a newsletter style regular email to your list. So sequences get triggered by things like if somebody requests a certain freebie or signs up for a product or a call, and then they get this nurture sequence where they get automatic emails each day for a period of time that kind of guides them in how to fully take advantage of what they've requested and helps them be ready for whatever it is that they asked for, and maybe helps guide them to whatever the next step is. So it's kind of a way of connecting up the pieces, and I like to look at it as laying down a path to follow. And I like to say that if you don't put those emails into place to connect up the pieces for people, then you're just dropping their hand and leaving them to wander around on their own in the woods, lost and confused. So we don't want to do that. So those sequences are going to be the string that connects up all the pieces of your offers and your website. But it is also really important to bring your new leads onto a regular email list where they're getting a newsletter once a week at least. If you're really struggling to stay consistent with it, you could do less, but it's very risky in terms of people forgetting who you are and why they signed up for your list. So email lists go cold really quickly, which means that they have forgotten who you are, and then they either unsubscribe, or if they don't feel like scrolling to the end and unsubscribing, they might just mark you as spam for their own convenience. And that impacts how your email gets delivered to everyone else. So it's very, very, very bad if people mark you as spam. Enough people marking you as spam, and that's when your emails start going to the promotion folder, and then eventually your emails start going to people's junk and they don't see them. So you want to make sure that people remember who you are and that they want to stay on your list. I mean, it doesn't mean that everybody has to stay on your list. If you're not the right fit for them and they realize that, then they can unsubscribe. And hopefully you've developed enough of a relationship with them that they will be nice and go to the unsubscribe section instead of calling you spam. So that is part of why you want them to remember who you are too, I think. So in Kartra here under My Communications, we have broadcasts and sequences. So sequences are the automatic things that we set up, and they have a trigger point, like somebody signed up for a certain thing, and then it sends them an email, and then wait a certain amount of time, send them another email, wait a certain amount of time. And you can get fancy with this stuff too. You can set up splits and test different things. You can tag them and segment them as you go. So there's a lot of options here if you wanted to say tag some people who took an action in an email and then split and send the people who took the action one kind of email, and the people who didn't take the action a different kind of email. You can automatically be unsubscribing them. I'm not actually going to do that. Cancel. You also have the option for text here. I haven't experimented with that yet. You can wait a certain amount of time. Add different kinds of advanced automations, send them to different places. But for the most part, I just use this for a straight linear email sequence. So the starting rule is they filled out a form, and then they got the welcome email when they did the form. That's in the form section. So the next day they get this to make sure they got it. Day after that, they get this. Day after that, they get a little bit about me. And this then leads them into seeing my broadcasts. So broadcasts are your newsletters. I send this out every week. It has a inspirational card draw So that is something that makes people like to open them because they get to choose their card for the week. And I have a training on how to do that in your business. It's pretty neat. And just telling them a little bit about what I'm doing, what the podcast theme is for the week, where they can listen to it, just to keep up with people and keep them remembering who I am and what I do, and just being there and being available for when they are ready for a funnel build, that they know where to go because I've been a consistent presence for them. I try to think of the newsletter as how can I be the email that people look forward to seeing in their inbox. Even though we all get a lot of emails, there's still always that couple of people that you love seeing their stuff and you always look forward to it. So that's what I want to be when I'm creating these newsletters. So those are the two different kinds of emails that you're going to want to have in your business. And these are the two different places where you can find them. So the sequences are automated and they are the string that holds the pieces of your funnel together. And the broadcasts are the newsletters that keep you top of mind for people and give them the information as new things are coming out, as new things are happening, different ways that they can connect with you, and everything going on in your world, because they signed up to hear from you. So hopefully they actually want to hear from you and know what you're doing. Now let's talk about how to actually build these types of emails. So I'm going to start with the broadcast. I like to clone my newsletter from week to week, but you can also click this plus button to start a new one, and you can also save your um, your favorites, so that you can, instead of cloning, you can just have a favorite template that you put in each time. Okay, so first we're going to choose if we're sending by email or by text. I have not tested out doing the text on Kartra yet. I should do that. I have not been collecting phone numbers as of yet from my leads. I know that that's something that people are doing more and more these days because text messages get opened more than emails. For now, people are going to start getting sick of the spam by text too. But for right now, we're going to focus on the email. And I have my email gateway set up. This is under my integrations. And this is not right. So right now what it has in here is not a real email, so it will not work to reply to it. We save up here, and then we save a next here to go to the next. Now here's where we decide who we are submitting it to. We can do it by certain lists. We can do it by everybody in my database, which is not really recommended because some of those people may not have consented to being on your list. I kind of make everybody consent to being on my list when they get in communication with me in any way. Or it can be from people on a membership, people who subscribe to a certain calendar, which is your Calendly style link, people who filled out a survey, people who did a certain form, all kinds of stuff that you can choose. Has clicked a tracking link, has visited a certain page, has purchased a certain product, has refunded. So just a ton of options for who you can be sending this to. So for right now, I will, this is not actually going out anywhere, but Let's say that. It probably has 0 people on it. Yeah. Can I even do it? I can't do it because it has 0 people on it. You can do multiple hashtags. You can have like your whole database except people who have a certain tag, which is something I do sometimes. So it's going to tell you this is a bad idea, but since I'm not actually sending it, I will do that. And then this is whether people have double opted in or not, or if they have clicked on something, where your sign up form says, click here to I agree to receive communications. A lot of the forms don't have that on them. A lot of my forms, I haven't put that on there. So anyway, my list is certainly not big enough to do an A/B split test, but it's cool that this is an option because you can test different subject lines, different content, see which one gets more attention. But I'm going to do a single email. Here's where you can add any attachments. Here's where you put your subject, the preview text, which is the text people can see before they open the email. And then here you have just a standard email composer. You can just type stuff and it can do these dynamic variables. So if you have the first name of somebody, you can say hi first name and it'll fill it in. A lot of different dynamic variables there, but I like to click over here to advanced because this lets you, and you can still see these dynamic variables, by the way, design template, and you can drag and drop like a page builder in here, which I find very fun. We can make the background a branded color. They have a bunch of full templates already in here, so you drag and drop it and it just has all of the elements, and you can X anything that you don't want. You can change anything. These purple buttons are where you're going to edit like the thing inside of the box. So like this would edit this image. This would edit this text. This one is for editing the whole box itself. So that might be like, yeah, there's the background color if it has a border around it. This is what you'd press to update your logo. This is what you press to actually type in this text, and you can do all the regular formatting with the text, change that. You can have buttons in here that you can set up. You can change the color. This is the URL they'll go to. This is what it says. This is the size. And then you can add whatever you want to, wherever you want, and change things. There's all sorts of fun variables that make your emails so much fun to read and look at. You can embed a video. You can, these are basically buttons, but with more like a headline and a button mixed together, or an image and a headline and a button mixed together. Countdown timer, testimonials, separators, a lot of the same things that you have available on the actual page builders. Yeah, so you can do all kinds of stuff to make this so pretty. And then once you have a basic framework template that you like, you can save it right here. Save as template. And then the next time you go to compose, you'll find it under my templates here. And then you can drag your template over. So much fun. Okay, so once you like that, then we have to enter a subject. Subject. Preview text you don't have to have. So now it will let me save and next. You can also send a test email to yourself to see what it looks like. I should update this footer if I were going to be using a footer, update these to link to the right places, all of that good stuff. You don't have to add automations here, but you can add things like if somebody opens this email, tag them opened email, things like that. If someone clicks something in this email, subscribe them to this sequence. But you can skip that, and then you can decide if you're saving it as a draft, if you're scheduling it for later, if you're sending it now. They have their recommendations there. So I'm going to save that as a draft. And it's ready. And then I'll see it under my broadcasts here, and I can go back in and edit it and schedule it. Or I can just delete it, which is what I'm going to do. So that is how to create newsletters, broadcasts, and make them pretty and nice. Now I want to show you email sequences. These are the automated things that get sent out. So public description is when people decide they want to unsubscribe, they'll click the unsubscribe and it will say, which list do you want to unsubscribe from? And that's what we'll show. So because this is automated, the first thing that you need is something to trigger it to send to people and who to send it to. So we're going to add a starting rule. You can start this rule from all kinds of things, that they visited a particular page. So that's kind of like the retargeting ads that you at least used to get on Facebook, which Facebook is struggling with that now, but that says, we noticed that you visited this page and you didn't do anything. Would you like to come back? That sort of thing can be accomplished with this. It's page visit, but doesn't have the tag purchased, blah, 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 which tells you that they did not do the action on that page, something like that. Opt-in form is a great way to start it. Tags are a great way to start it because your opt-in form can also tag them when they submit it. And then you can organize all of your tags in here. If they're on a particular list that you've already created, if they ordered a product, you might want to have a support sequence of emails teaching them how to use it, making sure they like it, that sort of thing. This can be very similar, but there's a lot of triggers for these automations. If they're already on a sequence, then maybe it takes them to this next sequence. I have not really used this before, but could be useful. So let's see. So here we choose whether it's from a Kartra page or it's from a different page that we own or don't own, I guess, although that seems weird, but who knows. So if they visited my blog, now we don't have their email if they just visited it, so this would have to be somebody who's also a lead first. They would have to have filled out a form and have contact information from them. So I guess that's partly why the page visit wouldn't necessarily work for retargeting. To give that more thought. So let's say they filled out. Wait, this one is not really active yet. Has tag. No, what's a good tag? How about, this doesn't really matter. I just want to have something so that we can show off the thing. So I'm going to take this trigger off because that doesn't really make sense. And you can add more than one trigger. Sometimes you need a combination of things. This is like one of those logic puzzles that you used to do, like if, then. So sometimes you can create complex patterns to make sure that you're hitting just the right people that you want to. So we have people who are tagged this, then maybe we want to send them an email. Maybe we want to add a new tag to them. Maybe we want to do some other automation. But most likely what we want to do is send an email. It's going to ask if we want to do it immediately when they are tagged or when whatever that starter trigger is hit, or if we want to wait, or if it happens on a specific date. Maybe if you have a launch, you would want to have like emails that happen exactly 1 week out, exactly 5 days out, exactly 1 hour before opening the cart, things like that. Do you want it to trigger all of the time or only on certain days? There's usually no reason to change this unless you have something against emailing people on the weekends. The name here is really for internal reference, so this does not go to them. The gateway, you should have this set up already under My Integrations. And this is not a real email address, so we're not going to worry about that right now. It's not going to let you put a Gmail or other free email address in the gateway. It has to be an email address from something paid. So like with your domain, you can purchase an email address that goes with it very affordably. So it has to be something like that just to keep it professional. They have a thing against free accounts because it can get spammy. So usually for this, I would say anyone reaching this step. Sometimes emails later on may be different. Next, we're not going to split test. We could split test and write different versions and see which one is better. And next, we compose the actual content of the email. So here's where we're going to enter the subject, the preview, compose the email. We've got these dynamic variables that can populate in things like, I see first name that you have been on our list since date joined. So it automatically fills these things in from the information that it has about your leads. And you can attach things, and you can also go advanced here, which I have a different training about how to use these design templates, but it's basically the same drag and drop as the page builder. And they have some pre-created templates you can use and mess with. Then you can save templates for yourself to reuse. And they've got all these different things that you can drag over. So this is one that I created, and then you could delete things. You can edit things. And I added a video. I added buttons, stuff like that. And then I'm going to need a subject preview, but then I can go next. Automation you don't need to have, but you could put something here like if someone opens this email, then tag them this, or various different kinds of if-then statements. So we're going to create that, and then the next important part is we're going to activate it. And I don't know why those are separate things, but I guess so that you can do it all, build it out slowly as a draft first if you want to. But I'm going to activate that and draw this line between them, that from here, next it goes to here, and then I can make another email. Same process. Drag the same line over. So that is composing email sequences.